Assalamu alaikum, viewers, everybody. Today we are discussing a very important event in the Middle East and West Asia, जिसे कहते हैं. West Asia अमूमन कहते हैं वो इलाका जो पाकिस्तान से वेस्ट पे हो, ठीक है, और ये जाता है अप टू सऊदी अरेबिया और बाकी इलाकों में. मैं उसको ज़रा आपको दिखा देता हूँ, थोड़ा सा हट के मैं अपने आप को हटा के दिखाता हूँ आपको. वेस्ट एशिया ये सब इलाका है. इट इंक्लूड्स तुर्की, इट इंक्लूड्स दैट. और आपको सबको पता है कि अभी एक डिफेंस पैक्ट हुआ है सऊदी अरेबिया और पाकिस्तान का. इसमें लिए बहुत लोगों के सवालात हैं कि ये जब डिफेंस पैक्ट हुआ तो अमेरिका बादशाह हमसे नाराज हो जाएगा, अमेरिका विल गेट एंग्री विद पाकिस्तान. दूसरा सवाल है कि ये चाइना को सूट करता है. तीसरा ये है कि शायद मुस्लिम नाटो है. नहीं, ये दो मुल्कों की है. भी ये किस किस्म का अलायंस है? इसमें सऊदी अरेबिया की आर्मी क्या करेगी? सऊदी अरेबिया तो ज़रा मुश्किल हो गया था उनके लिए हौती को हैंडल करना, तो आई डोंट थिंक मिलिटरीली पाकिस्तान को कुछ हेल्प कर सकेंगे. मगर क्या पाकिस्तान हेल्प कर सकता है सऊदी अरेबिया की? आंसर इज यस. So now we will get into this. First we will describe the situation previous to this Israeli attack on Doha. Previously हमने आपसे वीडियो पे शेयर किया था कि पाकिस्तान is being considered as a pivot state for both China and the USA. USA उस वक्त जब इंडिया basically Pakistan emerged superior militarily to India, held them at bay and shot them down and grounded the Indian Air Force. So at that stage, Americans decided to have Pakistan as a pivot state. And you remember at that time there was a meeting which was called in the different states were called in that one. And the CENTCOM people came here. और आपको मैं ये मैप दिखा देता हूँ. इसमें देखें, यहाँ सेंटकॉम वाले जो बहरीन में बैठे हैं, सॉरी कतर में बैठे हैं, वो पाकिस्तान ये सारा ग्रीन इलाका, दिस वाज कॉल्ड, पाकिस्तान में ये कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी और उसमें फोकस टेररिज्म और ईरान से एमिनेटिंग टेररिज्म था. वो कौन सा है? ये वाला टीटीपी बीएलए. और ये इन सेंट्रल एशिया वालों को भी तंग कर रहे हैं. तो ये बेसिकली इलाका था जिसकी बात कर रहे हैं. अच्छा, अब जरा हम जाते हैं वापस इसकी तरफ. अब ये है क्या? यहाँ बेसिकली प्राइम मिनिस्टर शहबाज शरीफ was invited to Riyadh and by the Crown Prince on Wednesday, and they signed a strategic mutual defense agreement, pledging that any attack on either nation will be treated as an act of aggression against both. That means if India हम पे attack करता है तो it will be an attack on Saudi Arabia also, right? और अगर Israel attack करता है Saudi Arabia पे, it will be considered an attack on Pakistan. इसमें एक लफ्ज है strategic. Strategic is the code word diplomatically which includes nuclear weapons umbrella. Without saying it, it implies that. Okay. पाकिस्तान और सऊदी अरेबिया की लॉन्ग रिलेशनशिप है डिफेंस की, और वो चलता रहा है. मामला कभी ऊपर जाता है, कभी नीचे जाता है, बट इवेंचुअली इट हैज स्टेड देयर. अच्छा, एग्रीमेंट basically reflects a shared commitment of both the nations to enhance their security and to achieve security and peace in the region. It aims to develop aspects of cooperation between two countries to strengthen joint deterrence against aggression. So, yeah, basically, by this one, they try to deter, especially Israel, from attacking Saudi Arabia. अगर कल वो करते हैं तो क्या करेंगे? ये बयान देंगे unless Pakistan steps in. Pakistan has the technology and the rest to step in. Okay. मैं थोड़ा सा इसमें और डिस्क्राइब कर दूं कि इसके जो सेलियंट फीचर्स इसके हैं ताकि हम में इबहम ना रहे ये है क्या चीज. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia reached an understanding under mutual defense agreement to consider attack on either one of them as an aggression against both. अगर किसी पाकिस्तान और सऊदी अरेबिया उस पे हमला होता है तो ये दोनों पे हमला होगा. I repeat, any attack on Pakistan or Saudi Arabia will be considered an attack on both. The defense pact comes after days after Israeli strike on Qatari capital Doha targeting Palestinian militants outfit Hamas. Basically, it sent shockwaves through the Gulf region. The Americans didn't intercept these missiles. The Gulf states didn't see it. And they were rocked out of it. Tomorrow, if they don't agree, Israelis don't agree on with one of those leaders, will they blow up the palaces? I mean, this is a very predatory country. Okay. On the other hand, India reacted to the signing of the Mutual Defense Pact by Pakistan and Saudi Arabia by saying that the government will take all steps to protect the country's national interest and ensure comprehensive national security in all domains, reflecting concerns over the development. अब ये domains कौन सी हैं? Diplomatic domain हो गया, बाकी domains हो गई, security domains हो गया, and they will try and strengthen the relationship with Israel. Now, will they do it in a fashion to make Saudi Arabians angry? No. There is a connection here, which we have to understand. India is the second largest importer of oil after China from Saudi Arabia. Do they have leverage? Let's explore that. The Americans are after them to cut Russian oil purchase. So after that, Saudi Arabia will have a chokehold on India. Anyway, so just one. The pact called the strategic, which there are about 4 major elements to this agreement. Called strategic agreement was signed by Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Shehbaz during Sharif's visit to Saudi Arabia. Joint statement both side treaty says any aggression against either country will be considered aggression against both. Field Marshal Asim Munir, Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar, Defense Minister Khawaja were part of the delegation that accompanied Sharif to Saudi Arabia. So it's a full core presence. Agreement also reflects shared commitment both nations to enhance their security and aim to develop aspects of defense cooperation between two countries and strengthen joint deterrence. Basically, this is the crowning of the informal or formal defense agreement which Pakistan has had with Saudi Arabia over the last 6 to 7 decades. अब इसमें काफी बाकी तबसरे शुरू हुए हैं. मैं आपको सब शेयर करूंगा एक एक करके. सऊदी अरेबिया डिफेंस पैक्ट किया, मगर एक सीनियर सऊदी ऑफिशियल ने ये कहा है, who spoke on a condition of anonymity, मेरा नाम मत लेना, acknowledged the need to balance relationships with Pakistan's rival India, also nuclear power. He said, our relationship with India is more robust than it's ever been. We will continue to grow this relationship and seek to contribute to regional peace, whichever way we can. Then he was asked if Pakistan would be obliged to provide Saudi Arabia a nuclear umbrella under the pact. And this, he said, this is a comprehensive defense agreement that encompasses all military means. Does that mean we defend Saudi Arabia, but they're going to maintain a balance when it comes to India attacking us? Probably not. But apparently there are some people who are still suffering. The details will come out on this one. In this, I like to share some things with you. To understand the degree of India's involvement in Saudi Arabia is there is no exact number from 2010. The estimated number of Indians in Saudi Arabia to be in millions, with one source stating 3 million in 2016. Recent population figures are not readily available, though 2023 reports significant presence of Indian expatriate community, which is a major part of Saudi Arabian non-citizen population. Now, something very interesting I want to share with you. There are approximately over 708,000 Hindus in Saudi Arabia as of 2020. I repeat, 7 लाख से ज्यादा हिंदू हैं सऊदी अरेबिया में. वो वहाँ मंदिर नहीं बना सकते मगर अपने घर में पूजा कर सकते हैं. Okay, now we got that part. What is the okay. दूसरी चीज है, we have to look at what does Saudi Arabia have in terms of defense. Saudi Arabia military personnel are about 2 lakh, 225,000, and paramilitary numbers another 125,000. And they have an F-15 inventory with 232 aircraft. And remember here, F-15 is an American-made, superior than an F-16. It's a superiority fighter. They have 232 aircraft, which are old versions and some are new versions. But in all of them, the BVR, beyond visual range missiles, are of less range than what America has provided to the Israelis. So what that means is Pakistan can't outfit these jets with the Chinese long-range missiles because America bars that. So what that means is the additional load on the Pakistan Air Force to defend Saudi Arabia will have to come from the Pakistani Air Force. Which brings to the fact that Mr. Zardari is touring those facilities in China. And hopefully, as I predicted in my last podcast, we will get at least 2 squadrons of J-20s, one starting right away, 1 squadron of J-10s right away, and starting January, probably replacing all the Mirages with J-35s. Now that will definitely bring us up to snuff to be able to handle both the predatory country in the region in West Asia as well as India. Okay. Now, some of the things which they are sharing here the timing of this pact is basically a signal to Israel, long suspected to be the Middle East's only nuclear armed state, conducting sprawling military offensives against Hamas. And they have been hitting countries like Iran, Lebanon, Palestinians, Qatar, Syria, and Yemen. Now, some questions will be asked here, and I'll answer it right now. Why didn't we not have a Muslim NATO? Egypt said Arab NATO. But looks like GCC had a side meeting, and next thing you know, Saudi Arabia invited us over, and they did this pact. The reason why they don't want to have a Muslim NATO, it will include Iran automatically. Problem is, no other country in the world wants Iran to have nuclear weapons. So any Muslim force at this stage would run directly against America, Chinese, Russian, and every country's interests. Till Iran gets denuclearized, there will be no Muslim NATO in the shape or form. There may be limited involvement in this from Turkey as a brother and friend. So hopefully I answered that question. Okay. At this stage, when I asked about this, Israel did not respond for comment. This pact marks the first major defense decision by the Gulf Arab countries since Qatar attack. United States long security guarantor for the Gulf states also did not respond to the question posed to the State Department. though the question of nuclear bomb was never raised, but it's inherently implied. Okay. A senior official, also speaking to Financial Times, said Pakistan nuclear protection part of the deal and will utilize all defensive military means. Here's another interesting one. Zalmay Kharidar, we all remember him from the Afghan days. He immediately had long experience with Pakistan and Afghanistan, expressed concern over the deal. And he said it comes at dangerous times. All right? What does that mean? Pakistan has nuclear weapons and delivery, he says, that can hit targets across the Middle East, including Israel. And it's also developing systems that can reach targets in the US. This is about the big motor and a large dia missile, which we are saying is for space exploration. And Americans said, it looks like you can hit us with this ICBM. So they had imposed some sanctions on some Pakistani entities because of that. And I think we covered that also. However, he also acknowledged that Pakistan is more than confident that its conventional ability is adequate to improve the security of Saudi Arabia without having to resort to any other nuclear options. So they मान रहे हैं कि हमारी इतनी capability है कि हम रोक सकते हैं. Before signing a defense pact, interesting, Iran dispatched Ali Larjani, a senior political figure who serves as secretary of the country's Supreme National Security Council, to visit Saudi Arabia. That may have been a kingdom's heads up to Tehran about the pact, as Saudi Arabia had a Chinese media deterrent with Iran. So Iran was also informed and looks like they're okay with it. With this pact, one thing we need to understand, Pakistan becomes anchored in the Arabian Peninsula as a net security provider for years to come. Foreign policy analyst Uzair Yunus told the news later. Yunus believes the move is most surely driven by the recent attacks on Doha and a rapid recalibration of security needs in the Arabian Peninsula. Some analysts will come up certainly and give news to that. You can read them as establishment, how they are viewing it too. Former Ambassador Tawqir Hussain, who was based in Washington, D.C., described the joint statement. He notes the coming wake of the Doha summit, Pakistan-Saudi pact, shows that the Gulf countries are not just relying on empty rhetoric, but mean concrete action. So now they are taking action. According to Hussain, resort to Pakistan is a first such step, with more developments to come, signifying diversification in addition to or away from the US. Yeah, most likely I consider addition to. This could mean strengthening of ties with China, easing tensions with Iran, and also clear the Arab trust in a US private security has eroded irreparably. They can't expect America to protect them, not when it comes to Israel. There's another international expert, Huma Bakai, told Geo TV that the defense pact would reshape regional geopolitics, arguing in fact the power matrix of South Asia and the Middle East. She noted the 110-hour war established Pakistan-China supremacy and triggered this. According to her, this could also result in a domino effect of more Gulf and Arab states seeking such an alliance. So we're going to see an individual alliance with Pakistan from these different countries. And let's see how that goes. Pakistan-Saudi existed before. This new clause brings it to its logical conclusion. For Pakistan, this brings a historic booster. For Pakistan, this is a historical status booster with religious connotations, and we brought it into the Arab world larger than lemon politics like never before. So now Pakistan is center stage of the Middle East Arab politics. as well as West Asia politics. Pakistan is being viewed and is viewed as a direct deterrent to Israel. Firdaus said in a social media podcast for Saudi Arabia, it's a hedge against uncertainty, a signal of independence. Although there was no specification of nuclear guarantees in the agreement, Pakistan arsenal casts deterrence shadow, which gives Saudi Arabia a de facto umbrella without formally breaching the non-proliferation treaty or norms. But it does increase the chance that local conflicts could spiral into regionalized war with nuclear consequences. I don't think so, because Israel is not looking to expand it to that level because one nuke can do a lot of damage. So I don't think they want to go that far. India, on the other hand, it remains to be seen. And I think we do cover that a big size motor थी एक मिसाइल की और उसमें Biden administration really became panicky and they put some. अच्छा, एक और है एनालिस्ट हैं, ये हैं सहाबी साहब, ये सऊदी अरेबिया के हैं. Okay. He said Saudi Arabia would try and maintain an excellent ties with India and was optimistic India would understand Riyadh's reasoning for formalizing this alliance with Pakistan. Okay. India Ministry of External Affairs said it was aware that the Saudi Arabia pact had been under consideration. I don't think so. New Delhi would study its implications for regional global stability. However, Mr. Shushwant Singh, an Indian journalist, lecturer on South Asian studies at Yale University, felt the agreement can't be good news for India irrespective of what happens in the real life situation. It drags a foreign power into India-Pakistan conflict and constrains India. So the real significance of the pact is about Pakistan's nukes and military for the Saudis. Another analyst, Firas Maqsad from Middle East and North Africa, managing director of Eurasia Group, Risk Control said pact was less about breaking with the US. Now, this is important. Less about breaking with the US, more about Riyadh signaling frustration with the US after Israeli attack on Qatar. By signing this pact, the Saudi prince is telling Washington we are diversifying our options. But don't get this wrong. Saudi Arabia is and still remains dependent on the US for security. This is hedging, not decoupling. मतलब वो यूएस के साथ भी रहेंगे और पाकिस्तान के साथ आगे चलाएंगे. So this is a hedging, not decoupling. Or before the pact, Saudi Arabia and the US concluded a week of military exercises in the kingdom, including a large counter-drone exercise ever held in the Middle East. There's another scholar in Washington, Mr. Hussein Ibish, from the Arab Gulf States Institute, told This Week in Asia, a military alliance between Arab and relatively powerful Muslim states like Pakistan, a NATO member cannot deter from using its weapons. ठीक है, cannot do it. Nevertheless, we talk about Israeli leaders about creating a greater Israel, possibly extending beyond existing Palestinian territory. It was not surprising the Arab and Islamic states were looking to work together to deal with a very dangerous predatory hegemonic power, Ibish said. So basically, without Pakistan interference, Arabs don't have a defense against Israel expanding beyond its present borders. And for that matter, Turkey can also play a role. One of the very known analysts for South Asia, Michael Kugelman, in a post on X, Twitter, said that the inking of the agreement Pakistan now finds in a very good place. This pact would not deter India from attacking Pakistan, but with three key powers, China, Turkey, and now Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, fully on Pakistan's side, Pakistan is in a very good place. And I tend to agree with him. Also, our own Senator Shehbaz Hussain, on the question of India places citizen, he says India in a state of shock. They are taken by surprise. This is Mr. Senator Ishaq Dar. Ishaq Dar, while speaking to Geo News, hailed the agreement as the single most important military and diplomatic initiative in the past 50 years after the Lahore Islamic Summit. Noting the significance of the agreement, he pointed out this is the first defense deal between two Muslim countries. Saudi Arabia is not just any Muslim country, but one of the richest countries in the world with a strong diplomatic influence. And he does think this will deter Israel. The four-day military conflict, he says, basically it showed everybody how good the dominance of Pakistani Air Force in the region. It probably will have some effect on the TTP issue as well as Afghanistan. Again, strategic mutual defense, it means what it means. In this case, another one analyst says, now with plenty of Saudi money, Pakistan will buy arms from America. I beg to differ, because Americans will only give us those arms one level or two levels below Israel, which is like dinosaur age for us. Chinese give us something which is a generation ahead of the Americans. So we really don't need American weapons. Maybe some areas we might, like in MRAPs or armored personnel carriers or other one. Uzair Yunus also noticed, he's an analyst, role as a net security provider in the Arab Peninsula. Journalist Ishaq Dar branded the pact as symbolically powerful, strategically consequential, and they say direct deterrence to Israel. And for Saudi Arabia, it's a hedge against uncertainty. So one thing is coming together quite clearly, that Pakistan is now a net security provider. And this agreement has brought Pakistan into the Arab world and its politics like never before. Pakistan, as you know, already has a credibility with Washington. And that Pakistan needs to clarify its nuclear, another one area what our intentions are. Now here I will go back to our analysis of the situation which we had before. I would like to bring to your guys' attention that after the war, Pakistan emerged as a pivot state for both China as well as USA. And in both cases, one of the primary interests they have is keeping the Straits of Hormuz open. And I think I'll go there at this stage, bring that to the forefront. That is this area, Gulf of Hormuz. And Pakistan emerging as a pivot state. Now, I think this relationship, even the USA will like that for Pakistan, because it will ensure that Pakistan intervenes in case someone tried to close the Gulf of Hormuz, this part. And I think that's what Chinese want, that's what they want. So it comes everything, it's coming together. Now at the same time, with the purchases and with Zardari in Beijing, in the earlier statement of Beijing, to Pakistan to play a greater role regionally. And Zardari is touring all the defense industries, talking of joint production and coming here. So what we had discussed previously, the HQ anti-missile system, stealth, the KJ 500, AVAC, and the Super AVAC, KJ 3000, and the drone killers technology, I think China will be bringing it to Pakistan. And with the Chinese discount and probably funding from Saudi Arabia, we're going to see a great expansion in Pakistan's military power. So with that, I want to add our host, Ms. Shehbaz, and I would say,
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right. As I've heard the analysis, one thing is very clear that this pact has read on the security map of the Middle East. But whether it brings stability or sparks new risk is a question only time will answer. Let's move toward the Saudi Arabia's motives. How will Saudi balance this new pact with its deep economic and energy ties to India?
Saudi Arabia will go through some confusion initially. It's going to be there, okay?
Mm,
Because the details have to be worked out. But attack on one, we consider the attack on the other one, is unambiguous statement.
mm,
If something happens, then the Saudi Arabians play both sides. Okay, would they want Pakistan to play both sides when Israel is attacking them? No. So I think some people may have to eat their words. India is the second biggest buyer of oil from Saudi Arabia, but it works both ways. And America is going to cut them off from the Russian oil. So initially they'll do it diplomatically through trade deals. Afterwards, they're going to send in their fleet and cut it off. So, have I answered your question?
yes, exactly. You talked about the statement that an attack on one is an attack on both. So, what does this mean practically in iron nuclear terms? What do you say about that?
Basically, the nuclear terms, Israel will never go for a nuclear
Mm,
confrontation. Basically, they will do conventional. So they'll stay below the nuclear umbrella. They're smart people. So, and Pakistan doesn't want to
mm,
go there either. So I think they're also smart. There's another country which is not that smart. But anyway, that's a separate issue. So conventionally, I think they'll be deterred because they know the Pakistan kill chain and the long range missiles we have. They don't want to come across, and they bring in about 10, 20 jets, and Pakistan shoots down 15. After that, कौन सी इज्जत रहेगी? What kind of respect you will be left in the world? The whole
exactly.
thing will just collapse. So I don't think they're going to test the boundary, but wait and see. Let's wait and see. But where they will be going for sure is Iran. This is where Trump will be going. They are under a countdown till end of October. If they don't settle with them on the nuclear issue, I think they're going to be coming for them. No enrichment
All
for
right.
Iran.
All right. But are they using Pakistan's nuclear shadow as a hedge against Israel and the unreliability after the Doha strike?
Yeah, I think one thing is less about unreliability is American willingness to shoot down Israeli jets. They didn't want to do that.
Hmm.
But that can't be said for Pakistan. So that's what Americans may like. Hey, Israel, now these guys are coming. You better behave yourself. You see, Israel is really testing the boundaries with USA. Now, with Pakistani sitting there,
Exactly.
they're going to go, okay, all right, all right, all right. We got the message. So
Hmm.
their
So,
AMRAAMs their AMRAAMs, early
sure.
AMRAAMs go 100 kilometers. We are sitting with something
Hmm.
at 300 kilometers. Why do you want to die? We are
All
having
right.
titanium nitride based AWACS. We detect up to 1500 kilometers. They can't even see us. We fire before they even know we are fired. They've got, by the time it gets close, they only get a 5-second window to get out of the plane. That's all. And if they don't, they die. So I don't think Israelis will test that. And secondly, in
All
the
right.
AWACS we have, we can detect any stealth aircraft 350 kilometers away due to the ASR radar and the technology we have. Okay.
All right. So, what do you think that could this deal trigger a dominoes effect with other Gulf or Arab states as well, seeking similar alliances with Pakistan?
That's what analysts are predicting, because they want to see probably Qatar coming in, Kuwait coming in, UAE coming in, Oman coming in, but it'll be done bilaterally with Pakistan as opposed to a bloc. And the reason is they don't want, if it becomes an open bloc, Iran says, I want to join, and we say, you can't join. You can't say that. So this is going to be handled bilaterally, most of it. And it'll be good for Pakistan. And I think
definitely
master move. And I think it's also good for us in the region, bring some stability back to the area.
definitely.
I mean, really unstable. I mean, our friends, the Israelis, are really have gone out to town on this one. I mean, we need to step back and join the rest of us to struggle through life. Anyway.
All right. So let's move toward the big picture. That are we witnessing the start of a new Gulf security order, where the U.S. is no longer a sole guarantor?
Yes, we are seeing actually a supplemental role. The CENTCOM is always going to be there. Pakistan will collaborate with CENTCOM. They have a lot of capabilities, both electronically, technologically in the reach, and Pakistan will collaborate with them as well as provide the Arab partners. So, and they may end up being a non-Arab partner also. Turkey.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, for Pakistan, it's a status boost, and for Saudi Arab, it's a safety net, and for the region, it could be a game changer or a ticking time bomb. Time will predict about that. So
I
that
think,
wraps up our today's discussion, I think.
yeah. Thank you, Shehbaz. I hopefully this brings more
Sure.
stability to the area, and
Inshallah.
I look forward for our podcast tomorrow on the normal
All
news,
right.
our special cast. Okay. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Signing off. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.